Welcome back. YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Dave Collins in studio, and going to the baseball diamond. Indians in control of the series. 3-2, 3-1 over the pending the outcome of the game tonight. Indians, is it a foregone conclusion if it hasn't already happened by the time this is on that they're going to win? Even if they lose today and it goes back to Game 6 at home, Cleveland, do they?
I still think so. Yeah. Last night was just a slip-up. The question I have for you, Jeremy, would you like to see Terry Francona back in Boston? Do you think if he was still managing the Red Sox to this day, and I realize a couple of years have passed, do you think the Red Sox would still be playing for an AL championship right now and possibly a World Series?
A couple things that I would say about that. If Terry Francona comes over with Andrew Miller, then I'd take him back. Because I'm not here to bash Terry Francona or say anything. He's not a good manager. He's a great manager. He helped the Red Sox win a couple championships. But Andrew Miller now makes his job a lot easier.
I agree.
When you're doing bullpen machinations and you're trying to figure things out, and you know you can go to a guy who's going to shut him down, whether it be the 5th inning, the 6th inning, 7th inning, and you have multiple innings he can go, I think that makes your job a lot easier.
Yep.
So, I don't know. When he won the World Series, he had some pretty good players, too. So it's not as if he's this magic man who comes up with, he had Ortiz in his prime. Farrell had him for his last 4 years when he was on the decline. He didn't have much of a decline, I understand that. I'm not trying to defend Farrell's players and saying he doesn't do anything. I'm just saying I think some people look at it with rose-colored glasses because the fall began on his watch, if we remember correctly.
Terry Francona, yes. I agree. But that's also when they got some of those players that are big names or were big names after he left that sort of took over the ship, if you want to say that. Terry Francona, and I will argue this to my death, I believe there should be a statue of Terry Francona at Fenway, right outside of Fenway Park. The man managed Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan had his little baseball stint in the minor leagues back in the mid-'90s. He was also manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, and they gave him absolutely nothing to work with right before he came to the Red Sox. He gave you guys a championship for the first time in 86 years, and certain people in that organization, players, sort of ran him out of town. I think what he has to work with in Cleveland right now is a lot better than his final year in Boston. I think it's enough, though, to propel them to the World Series and possibly get them a title. Yeah,
and like I said, I'm not trying to disparage anything Francona's done. I'm not a sour grapes and say I wish I didn't have him. I'm just saying, let's be real. His first 6 seasons, he was a below 500 manager, and he won 1 World Series. That was with the Red Sox. John Farrell is an above 500 manager and has won 1 World Series. I'm not saying John Farrell's Terry Francona, but let's remember where he came from. Managing the Phillies to some pretty bad seasons.
Yep.
And like I said, he's good. He earned everything he gets, but I just think sometimes it's a little outlandish to say how much did he have an effect.
We can have this debate probably in 2 weeks. If the Cleveland Indians win the World Series, is Terry Francona in Cooperstown?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll say that right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Before Cleveland goes any further?
I think so.
Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's a bad manager. I just don't know if, sure, would we like to have Theo Epstein back too? Yeah,
that's... so would you rather have Terry Francona with Miller or Epstein?
I don't know. Epstein's
that's
pretty
a toss-up right there.
And the GM right now, well, they're still looking for one, is actually the word on the street. So going into the NLCS, Cubs down 2-1. Are they the underdogs now with a tough game they need to win on the road before they face Kershaw in Game 5?
I think this is going to go 7 games. I don't know how it's going to play out. A team may go up 3-1. It might be 2-2. But I think this is going to go 7 games. And this matchup right here could be better than what we see in the World Series.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the Indians, if they win, they could propel and go and sweep the World Series 4-0. But the Cubs and the Dodgers have been the 2 most interesting teams to watch and how they played, the Nationals and the Giants beforehand. This NLCS is going to be a classic.
And I think tonight the test is going to be the Dodgers' young pitching staff, if they can keep it going.
Or can Kershaw come out for another 20 pitches?
He's supposed to pitch Game 5, so you got to think if the Dodgers win Game 4 to go up 3-1, they're in control with Kershaw on the mound at home. But if they lose, it goes 2-2, you might put the Cubs back in the driver's seat. And let's not forget John Lester. He's going up against Kershaw tomorrow night. That's not a foregone conclusion that Lester loses that game and Kershaw wins. Is it? I mean, maybe you think it is.
No.
Leicester lost 1-0.
I think that the way this is going, it's going to go 7 games. There's going to be a few more walk-offs. It just has that build-up, like that steaming pot that's going to boil over.
Right.
That something exciting is going to happen with these two teams, because it already has in some of these series involving these two teams back early in the divisional series.
Right, and I correct myself. Leicester didn't lose 1-0. The Cubs lost 1-0 to Kershaw, but it was Hendricks who was pitching. So it's not as if Kershaw shut them down and they lost by 8-10 runs. So we'll see.
We'll find out who's going to be in the World Series.
It's going to be an exciting week. So we'll wrap that segment up and go to the local segment. We got some Dartmouth talk, some high school, plus our NFL picks. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.